Hey everybody, welcome back to the Fish Tank. Tournament time again here. This is my 2v2 Fishbowl Brawl for October. It is going to be between SeT and Dark Crow and F1cUs and Aristokrat. So as always, these finals are going to be best of 5. There's going to be conquest rules, so if you win with a master, you can no longer play that master. And of course the players are going to have ban powers. So as we've seen before, both of the teams get to ban one master and 3 cards. That prevents their opponent from playing those, and of course the opponents have that ban power back towards them. So SeT and Dark Crow have banned Volko, very strong master. Scrapyard, interesting ban, don't see that too often, but I think it does really shut down a very specific Outlander strat. Ritual of Servitude, again, I think we've seen that quite a lot in the 2v2 tournament, so not a shocking ban. And Prime Sergeant Radic, which again, quite a meta ban. We see him a lot on the leaderboards, definitely wildcarded a lot, but of course, in my tournaments, no wildcards allowed. We want maximum player skill to be seen. Now, F1cUs and Aristokrat have banned back with King Puff, very strong master, especially in 2v2. And of course, he has been buffed recently. But just to clarify, this game took place on the 1.51 patch. So that's not the latest patch. This is the patch before the nerf to rapid response reserves, for example. Unfortunately, I didn't get time to record this before the patch dropped. And of course, that breaks the replays. But the devs were kind enough to be able to spin me up an old version of the game, so we can record this as it is intended. Right, so King Puff banned, Fergus, Flagoon Fighter, very strong 2v2 card, Prime Sergeant Radic, and of course Beam of Doom. Banning Beam of Doom suggests they're going to have some kind of big pushes that can be punished by such a big removal card. Anyway, so that's what they can play. Let's dive in and get some gameplay. Here we go. With the first game of the grand final, we're going to have our dual deck technology, of course. So let's just get that set up. Boom. Should be good. And you can see that now. Right, here we go. What do we have? So, we've got Setsu and Volko, very strong masters. Setsu, a strong master in the hands of a good player, not great in the hands of a lesser player. Makes it kind of difficult to balance, and there's always a discussion about that. And they're against Ravager and Diona. Bladestar really threading the needle, I guess, at the bottom there. It's kind of missing things. Remember, this is before the recent Bladestar change. So it still lasts for 5 seconds here and does the 130 damage. Right. Giant growth. Blue Golem at the top, that is not to be laughed at. But of course we've got a big push coming at the bottom here, and that's why we potentially see the ban for the Beam of Doom. This is where you would really wish a big removal spell like that. Well, that's a great chain, killing the Golem that would have then gone on to heal. And the blue team doing a decent job holding this together at the bottom. The stuns are going to help from the Zap Shrine. And we do have Spirit Mancer at the bottom, dropping some spirits, but not exactly where they want them. Yahoo's still pretty healthy, so a decent push coming here, but the blue team do manage to take an XP lead to start with. Okay, so they shut that down without too much problem, eventually. And they did a good job holding the bridges as well, did the blue team. So they're in a strong spot. And of course, we know perk 3 Setsu is a massive power spike. So we're going to have the Ravager power spike. But the thing with the Ravager power spike at perk 3, if we get there, because they are taking a lot of damage here, is that it's a one-time only thing. Whereas the perk 3 Setsu just keeps on giving and giving. Right, a lot of face damage coming out from Dark Crow and SeT here. We've seen them on opposing teams in previous events. Today, in this event, they have joined forces. Right, Red Golem for the red team. Hasn't been buffed, though, which is a little bit unfortunate. Could grab a spirit here. No Growth Burst Shroom for it, though. Or they tried to save think the Spirit Mancer there did unfortunately die, but he did get a Spirit on the Red Golem for now. Bladestar doing what Bladestar does. Not incredible, but getting value nonetheless. Battle Monkey at the bottom there is going to get some good value until it gets stunned, and then it gets fully shut down. And remember, we're going to get 2 stuns if the units are in range from the Zap Shrine. Right, Cleaver against Yahoon at the top. Getting tanked nicely by the Elite Swarmer. Yahoon's going to go down pretty quickly now with the Curse from the Curse Bearer and the Cleaver. Right, perk 3 now for the blue team. That's going to be a massive power spike. Setsu's going to have her piercing shot. We're going to have Berserker Rage now for melee units. And that statue's going to hit hard. Like the Golem's going to survive though with the heal. But look, Setsu's on face. This is really difficult to deal with. Once you get down to low HP against the Setsu late game, you really start running out of options very quickly. And whilst you are able to shut the Setsu down, you do have to save your cards to do so. And you do inevitably take at least the 50 damage from the Setsu Blast entry landing, sorry. So you eventually will succumb to that if you're not healing. Okay, that Cleaver just alive there. This is before the Cleaver nerf as well. So that Cleaver would have been dead in the latest patch with the 550 HP. Here it just survived to get a big hit off. Setsu coming in. No, Setsu not yet. Right, so we have had a hill. That must have been from Diona. But where's the Setsu going to launch? Land. That's the one. Right, Setsu landing to support this push. Because they know the stuns are going to shut down Setsu if they jump face. So what's the most value you're going to get? Probably pushing like this. So if you're a Setsu player or a new Setsu player, this is a great thing to watch to see how it's going to be played. And perk 3 Setsu really difficult to deal with. Too difficult in the end there. Darkrow and SeT take the first game, and they're into a 1-0 lead. Here we go, leading into game number 2. Mordor and Wrecked against Ravager and Diona. Remember, if you lose with the Masters, you don't have to change. Lots of pinging and emoting going on. So Ritual being played by the blue team. That was banned by them, but of course that's only the ban for their opponents. Putting the pressure on here. Can they shut down? Oof. Trying to shut down the Rendrath without it getting too much value. Does it hit the Cleaver? I don't think it does. Okay, Rendrath getting fully shut down there. Right. That's a Doom Cleaver. Going to be getting some reductions every time it hits face or gets a kill. And he does have the Azali in hand to take those reductions if possible. Right, big push at the bottom here. Only 1 reduction from the Doom Cleaver there, so not really getting the value that it wanted. Tombstone is up. Looks like it might take some damage here, but nicely done. Okay, is there going to be a res from this Tombstone? Remember, if you look at the units that have the slight green circle around the bottom of them, like Azali, for example, at the top, that means that that's a Mordor unit that can be revived. Right, there we go. Shield Guard, half HP, not a bad revive. Okay, Statue's going to get absolutely snapped in half at the bottom there. Big face damage coming out at the top, but Red Golem is available now, so that's the trap card that has been activated. Scary looking push, and again, reminder that the Beam of Doom was banned by the red team, which would be a great way of shutting down some of these pushes. Right, this is going to be too much damage, I think. I think we're going to have a 1-1 situation here. Aristokrat and F1cUs fighting back with some big golems. Right, 1-1, game on. Here we go with game 3. Volko Morelia against Morelia and King Puff. Game on. Remember, you have to change the master after you win. Can't play that master anymore. But you can play the same deck. The master is the only thing that's is required to be changed. We might see a similar deck here from the red team. We do see a lot of Shrooms, a lot of Zen Chi. It's going to be a big breath coming in. This is Breath still doing 180 damage, I think, in this patch. 1.51. Okay, so Statue's still alive at the bottom from the Rock Rivals. That is not ideal from the red team. Back in the day, you'd only give that statue to your opponent the first cycle, but of course, current day, Rock Rivals gives it every time. But it is cheaper than it was before. Nice use of Morgul's Mark on the Shen there, keeping it busy. Good DPS coming out from those enraged flightless dragons. Huge DPS from those. Remember, they get enraged if you are behind on HP. Shen getting a little bit more value than he really looked like he was originally. Cleaver goes down. They weren't able to tank the hit. Skeleton Horde out of the Walking Blind Days. A great pull there at the bottom there. Even getting on the bridge to neutralize it. It's a little bit of RNG luck. Right, perk 2 for the blue team. Remember, we're one game all in this grand final. Working towards the first of 3, best of 5. Let's see who can take a 2-game-to-1 lead first. Hypnotize is going to be decent here, is it? Looked like some awkward Hypnotize passing. Remember, Hypnotize units don't necessarily target the closest thing. They will target something that's close to them, but not necessarily the closest. And therefore you end up sometimes with these weird units running around each other, chasing each other. But a lot of damage coming out at the bottom there. 506 HP remain for the red team, and they're a long way down on XP as well. This is not looking great for them at the moment. They're trying to do these big pushes, but they've barely scratched their opponent's face. Bounty Sniper gets immediately shut down. Shen and the Flightless Dragons clearing there. The support from the Shen Shockstick. Not sure it was completely required. Now they don't have it to shut down the Reboomer, which is probably going to shut down everything. But that's a lot of face damage coming out. Right, we said before about they haven't scratched them. The red team have now made the blue team bleed. They're down to 766 HP. They need to be careful. They can be punished with one more good push. We know King Puff gets very strong at perk 3. There's going to be a dragon for either side as well if we get that far. This Hypnotize is going to be quite painful at the top there. Those units are murdering each other. That's some good Hypnotize. We do see Hypnotize on units that really don't do much to each other, but those golems were slaughtering that statues through to face. I don't think they can shut this statue down. The hill comes just in case. Ooh, Shen. The Shen stun and the hill perfectly timed to keep the red team in it. 301 HP. Looks like they got that double hill from Morelia's spellbook. And again, here comes the red golem. Right, breath on face, not going to do very much, but at this stage, with very low HP, every little can change this. Got to be careful with those blood-packed flightless dragons, or flying dragons. Got to be super careful. They can be punished. I don't think they have any sort of fireballs or anything like that to do huge damage to them. It's going to be some damage nonetheless. This is Blood Pact doing 85% damage in this. I know it's a little confusing with the different patches, but if we didn't do it like that, then we wouldn't have been able to get this replays run at all. Right, 230 HP. Dragon on dragon. They need to be super careful because Nivir might aggro on face. Nivir is on face. Nivir wasn't aggroed on face, but Nivir was hitting face. Right. SeT and Dark Crow take a 2-game-to-1 lead. Here we go. Game number 4. Can SeT and Darkrow close this out? Can Aristokrat and f1cUs fight back? Let's find out. Right, Apep and Diona against Morelia and King Puff. Again, looking like the same decks for a lot of the players, if not all of them. Nice Chain Lightning clearing the top, holding the bridge. Cleaver comes in. Naked Cleaver is not ideal, normally gets handled with. They're going to tank it here. I don't know if that was the best way to handle that. I think they could have tanked that Cleaver better, but the support with the Chain Lightning was great. We get a cross on the taunt trap because it doesn't really do anything there. Kind of wasted, wanted to keep the Cleaver alive, but it was a little bit too late. Right, XP lead for the blue team to start with here. Here comes the push at the top. Bridge switch away from the healing shrine. It kind of feels bad, man. A little bit of lost communication between the two players there. This could be a decent looking Hypnotize. Okay, it worked out really nicely in the end there. That's the curse really put the hurting on Yahoo. Right, Cleaver's going to get another hit off here. Big breath. Actually's going to get some more hits off against the Golem. The Golem does get a weird hit off whilst it's recovering from the freeze. The animation doesn't show the hit, but you saw the damage there. Just kind of a little disconnect between the animation and the damage when it gets frozen. Darkrow and SeT have a lot of bridge control, so you should, as we are seeing, expect them to be ahead on XP. Again, Cleaver just sent in. Normally you would advise against that, but it's working out. They do, of course, have the Chain Lightnings to support it as well. They're kind of sending the Cleaver in and just tempting their opponents to try to counter it, and then they'll counter the counter. Right. Good heal there. The switch there didn't really lose them too much from the healing shrine. Big Chain Lightning. Golem hitting a lot of things at the top there, but there's still a lot more for it to hit. It's clearing most of it, but not enough. Decent XP lead for the blue team. We saw in the previous game, I think it was, how much damage can be done over a very quick period of time from the red team, so that they do have to be careful with these big pushes. That looked like a misplay. I'm not sure what that Hypnotize was. Not talk about that. It was the blue team trying to hypnotize their own units, I think. That does not work. Okay, Cleaver tanking at the top there, keeping all the DPS, the other DPS, secondary DPS alive. Perk 3 now, which means we're going to have an extra trap for Diona, and the 4-mana free card is going to start cycling through for Apep. That can be a big increase. We know how strong King Puff can be at perk 3 though, but not there yet. Here we see a big push. There's the Hypnotize. I feel like they could have bridge switched out of the Hypnotize there. The Hypnotize didn't really seem to do too much in the end anyway. Right, this is a scary looking push. 2 big golems. Very buffed as well. But they're melting in there. Okay, 1 remains. The ranged unit's really doing a great job. The Snake Druid was just holding it away from everything. Really frustrating when your big units get locked down by the Snake Druid like that. But that's what the Snake Druid does. Right, XP kind of almost not leveling up, but the red team's getting closer, I would think. Decent Chain Lightning. Here comes the one and only Nirvir. This is from Morelia's spellbook. spawn deeply as you would expect. Trying to get a spirit on it from the Spirit Mancer. Spirit Mancer could start giving out a lot of valuable spirits here. Do we get one on the near vid? There we go. Okay, and they're still going to keep going. Right, spirits everywhere. This little interaction has given a big XP lead to the blue team, though, so you feel like the red team need to go ahead and kill them at this point. Night Puffs from the bridge switch. This Hypnotize, though, is being really punishing. In comes the Breath as well. That's going to lock everything down, and a huge push suddenly is really reduced to not too much. We have the Dragon at the top on their own, which is not really going to do too much. Let's see, can the red team catch up on XP? They are healing, so that's giving them a bit of breathing room. Good bridge switch. Blood Imp's not going to get too punished at the top there. We've got Night Puffs pushing at the bottom. Remember, Night Puffs basically have no HP and a shield, so spirits are not going to help them too much. Right, Mana Frenzy for the blue team. Can they close this out? The red team's closed up significantly, though. Their Mana Frenzy is very close. Can they put pressure on the bridges and get involved in this late game? Or can the blue team, Dark Crow and SeT, take the tournament here? They're 2-1 up. They're looking to close it at 3-1. They've got the bridges, have the blue team. They're going to be getting a huge mana increase. And this looks like the Cleaver's going to finish the game here. Cleaver doesn't get a chance to hit, but that's game. Dark Crow and SeT, 3, and the winners. Very well played to them. Wow. Right, Dark Crow and SeT are the champions. As we mentioned before, they have played opposing teams before, on opposing teams. In this event, they were a force together, and they really are a force to be reckoned with. F1cUs and Aristokrat doing a great game, a great job getting to the grand final, putting a lot of pressure on there. We saw them take a good game off of SeT and Dark Crow, but ultimately SeT and Dark Crow just too strong, and they are the grand champions. Very well played. Right, that's it. That is the grand final. SeT and Dark Crow are the champions. Remember, we have a lot of tournament action here in the Fish Tank in the Minion Masters community. We have our Knights Duel every month for the 1v1. We have my 1v1 and 2v2 Fishbowl Brawls. Check the links in the description to find out when the next event is coming and get involved. Remember, they're open to everyone. Guaranteed prizes for all. Lots of cool, fun stuff. Just a reminder, we are waiting for Mini Masters 2.0. Exciting times. That's going to drop in December when we get our hands on the prologue. All players, Xbox and PC, are going to go across to the 2.0 version. We'll get our hands on the game. We'll be able to give our feedback. And hopefully we'll be able to mold it into the perfect game. We all know and love Mini Masters is awesome. Let's hope 2.0 can take it to the next level. And of course, mobile gaming coming in with the 2.0 in January of next year with Netflix gaming on Android and iOS. Lots of cool stuff to look forward to. Make sure you join me in my continuing Mini Masters journey here on the Fish Tank, in the Fish Tank, on Twitch, on YouTube. Make sure you drop a like and subscribe on this video to make sure you don't miss out on anything Mini Masters related. I'm Bad as Fish, and as always, I am awkwardly waving.